This is the new Samsung S25 Edge, which is the thinnest smartphone released so far. And these are some of the thinnest cases for the S25 Edge, from video sponsor Banks. Before we get into the cases, let's go over some initial ways you can protect your super thin phone. First up is a lens protection for your camera. This is a great option, especially for someone who wants to use the phone with no case and just wants the most simple protection. These lens protectors are made of a high quality glass with a scratch resistance of 9 on the hardness scale. The installation is pretty straightforward. First, you need to make sure the camera lenses are cleaned using the included alcohol wipes, and then make sure there's no dust on the camera lenses using the included stickers if needed. From there, you peel the back off this alignment tool, press it on, remove it. Pretty straightforward, and it doesn't affect the look of the phone much at all. Next up is a screen protector. The Edge doesn't have an anti-reflective coating like the S25 Ultra, but what you can do to add that feature to your phone is install a screen protector that has that feature. This screen protector has an anti-reflective coating on it, and it retains 94% light transmittance, which means that it has a super minimal effect on how bright and clear your screen is with the screen protector installed. It's also thin at 0.3mm and offers a 9-inch level of hardness and features a nano coating to help resist dust and smudges. It all comes in this easy to install tray that gives you a bubble-free installation. So let's go ahead and check that out. So that didn't come out totally bubble-free, but I'm pretty sure we can just ease those out with this cloth. And there we go, perfect installation after a little bit of extra massaging. Here's a comparison of how that anti-reflective screen protector is working. All right, so we're just adding a fingerprint. That's all added. And we're testing the fingerprint reader, and with the screen protector, no issues. So I often have a hard time with the fingerprint reader in the screen. So it's great to see that it's working even with the screen protector installed, and my dry thumbs. It might be kind of tricky to pick up on video, but the screen protector has rounded edges, which is a more comfortable experience, especially if you're using your phone without a case. I've tried using my phone caseless without screen protectors that aren't rounded, and it's not comfortable when you're swiping around these edges. So I know it seems like a small detail, but trust me, the rounded edge makes a difference. Alright, let's get to cases. First up, we'll take a look at the Armor Air case for the S25 Edge. This case is built from durable Kevlar fiber and is 1mm in thickness and weighs only 20 grams. The design of this case was inspired by the Northern Lights, so you get this interesting combo of blue, green, orange, and black all woven together. Out of all the Banks cases that have different colors woven in, this one is my favorite. Inside the case, you can see that this is a MagSafe compatible case, which we'll test in a bit. You'll also see that the Kevlar is made from the company DuPont, which is actually the company that was first involved in the creation and development of Kevlar. It's a super strong material that's most commonly used in protective vests for the army and law enforcement. Let's get the phone in the case. So here's a look at the S25 Edge in the Banks Aurora Armor Air case. This is a look from the back, and now here's a look from the front. Here's a look at the left side of the case, and then here's a look at the right side, which is where your phone buttons are. I like how Banks does an angle on the cutout area around the buttons because it makes it more comfortable to use versus if it was a more rectangular shaped cutout. Looking at the top is a cutout for one of your microphones, as well as these two slits over here. And then looking at the bottom of the case, there are precise cutouts for the bottom mic, charging port, and speaker. You'll also notice the slits here on either side. What I've noticed is that this does help the case have a little bit of flex in order to help get the case on and off. And it also helps the case have a more tight fit once the phone is actually sitting on the case. Looking at the lip of this case, there's definitely protection with or without a screen protector. The top corners of the case have a little bit of an extra lip to help keep your screen off of flat surfaces like tables. There are T-spots that don't have a lip around them, that's by your buttons, and then by your charging port. Realistically though, the chances of your phone screen only hitting here or here are pretty minimal. Most drops usually hit face down, on the back, or on one of the corners, so I wouldn't worry too much about these areas. Let's quickly test the MagSafe of the case using the Armor Pop phone grip from Banks. You can see that the MagSafe strength is really good, so you'll be able to use accessories like this phone grip without needing to worry that they'll come off, unless you really want them to. On the back of the case is the camera protection, which is shaped Kevlar with an aluminum ring. This gives your camera good protection from rubbing against surfaces. With the camera lens protectors on there, they do stick out just the tiniest bit above the ring. And then without the lens protector, you can see that the camera actually sits below the camera ring. But let's just put that back on there. Now let's move on to the Montage Armor Air, which is personally my favorite design that Banks puts out. Looking inside the case, you can see that same DuPont logo and the MagSafe ring to show that this case is MagSafe compatible. Now with the phone in the case, here's a look at the front and then the back of the Armor Air Montage case on the S25 Edge. The Montage case is made with a combo of 600D and 1500D Kevlar weave, which is what gives it this two-pattern look. This case is also 1mm thick and has a weight of 21.6 grams. So this is definitely going to keep your phone feeling thin and light. Here's a quick look at the left side of the case before we move on to the right side. where you can see a cutout that's similar to the Aurora case we just looked at. Again, I definitely prefer this shape of cutout for comfort. It's also nice that you get to use the actual buttons of your phone. Up top we have the cutout for the microphone and the slits to help with the fit of the case. Down at the bottom, we can see those precise cutouts for the bottom mic, charging port, and speaker, as well as those slits on either side that help with the fit of the case. Testing out the MagSafe strength of this case, it's also really good, so no concerns there with using it with a variety of different MagSafe accessories. Looking at the case lip, you can see there's good protection for your display, both with and without a screen protector. Again, you have a slight raise along the top, and then the two exposed sides by the buttons and the charging port, which again, I wouldn't worry about. Having a slight lift like this just helps to keep your display from rubbing directly on a table surface, which might have small debris on it that can scratch your screen. I'm speaking from personal experience. Looking at the back of the case, it's shaped around the camera module with an aluminum ring here to help protect your camera lenses from rubbing against surfaces. And like we just looked at, with the camera lens protectors on here, they are going to rub instead of the ring, but if you remove them, the ring is what's going to be rubbing against surfaces. Either way, you're protecting the actual glass of your camera lenses. So that's been a look at the Banks Aurora and Montage Armor Air cases for the S25 Edge, as well as the anti-reflective screen protector and camera lens protectors. If you'd like to pick up any of these items, I'll add links in the description and include any discount codes I can get for you. As always, I appreciate your spending your time with me. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you again.